There's a moment most people don't talk about. You're standing there, conversation's normal, no yelling, no threats, no tension you can point to. And then someone speaks. Not louder than you, not meaner than you, just certain. And without deciding to, you soften. Your voice drops a notch. You explain more than you planned. You feel the urge to agree, or at least not push back. Later, you'll replay it and think, why did I give that ground so fast? That wasn't politeness. That wasn't maturity. That was submission. And it didn't start in your head. It started in your body. I didn't notice this pattern for years. I thought I was being easygoing. I thought I was being smart, choosing my battles. What I didn't see was how often I was shrinking before anyone asked me to. And once I noticed it, I started seeing it everywhere. By the end of this, you'll understand why submission happens, how power triggers it without words, and how to stop giving it away automatically, without turning into a confrontational mess. This isn't random behavior. Submission has a trigger, a reflex, and a payoff. Once you see the loop, you can interrupt it. When people hear the word submission, they picture something dramatic. Orders, obedience, someone being told what to do. That's not how it usually works. Real submission is subtle. It looks like agreeing just to keep things smooth, laughing along when you don't mean it, letting interruptions slide, explaining yourself when no explanation was required, backing off a point you actually believe. No one commands you to do these things. You volunteer. If this has happened to you, there's nothing wrong with you. You didn't submit because you're timid. You submitted because your nervous system recognized power cues. That's not a personality flaw. That's evolution. For most of human history, misreading power got people hurt. So the body learned to adjust fast. The problem is, modern life triggers that same reflex far more often than it needs to. Here's the part people miss. Submission isn't a conscious decision. It's physiological. Your body is scanning constantly for certainty, confidence, status, social backing. When it senses those, it adjusts before your thoughts catch up. By the time you choose to go along, the choice has already been made for you. That's why people say, I don't know why I did that. They're telling the truth. Picture a meeting. One person talks more than everyone else. They interrupt. They dismiss ideas with confidence, not explanation. No one challenges them. Not because they're always right, but because they sound like they are. That's not leadership. That's perceived authority triggering submission. Certainty feels powerful because the brain hates uncertainty. Certainty feels like safety, even when it's wrong. Submission isn't admiration. It's relief. Most people learned submission early, not because someone said, be small, but because disagreement wasn't safe. So the nervous system learned a rule. When power shows up, minimize yourself. That rule doesn't disappear with age. It just changes uniforms. Over time, one person adapts. The other stays exactly the same. That's not balance. That's submission stabilizing the relationship. Groups don't follow logic. They follow cues. When one person stays steady and others react, authority gets assigned automatically. Submission spreads. Submission often gets praised. People call it maturity, understanding, keeping the peace. But peace built on self-erasure isn't peace. It's containment. At first, submission feels easier. Over time, it becomes resentment, anxiety, loss of identity. Here's the loop. Someone acts dominant. Others adjust. Dominance goes unchallenged. Power solidifies. To interrupt submission, pause before agreeing. Speak slower. Say less. Stop over-explaining. You don't need to dominate. You just need to stop collapsing. Next time you feel yourself shrinking, say one calm sentence. Then stop. Let the silence sit. Submission isn't failure, it's conditioning. Once you see it, you regain choice. And choice changes power. If this helped you put words to something you felt but couldn't explain, thank you for staying until the end. If you found this useful, like the video and subscribe to The Dark Authority. This channel exists to explain real psychological dynamics without noise or theatrics. Power doesn't always demand. Sometimes it just waits for you to give way. Now that you see how submission works, you get to decide when it happens and when it doesn't.